Well, welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to have you all here today, and thank you to Governor Lamont, our industry partners, our educators, our workforce development boards, and other key stakeholders for joining us for this really important conversation today on how Connecticut envisions spending the American Rescue Plan dollars to rebuild our workforce. We have about 140,000 people out of work and are seeing record hiring numbers. As of March, the total number of jobs in a single month is the highest it's been in the last 10 years. In the last 6 months, job postings for healthcare have increased by 100%, manufacturing by 170%, and IT by 60%. In order for us to meet this demand, we have to be agile. We have to work together. We have to develop sector-based training programs to reskill and upskill those who are unemployed. This is going to require strong partnership with coordination, cooperation, and communication between the workforce boards, our state community colleges and universities, our private educational institutions, and ensure that that industry is at the center of all of this work and conversations. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Marty Guay, the Vice President of Business Development for Stanley Black & Decker.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you for the Office of Workforce Strategy for consistently activating the entire Connecticut ecosystem. I think the cooperation, collaboration, and shared confidence has never been higher. Stanley Black & Decker is committed to the success of workforce development in Connecticut. We have workforce needs across the entire organization, and we project that 30,000 of our 55,000 people will need to be reskilled over the next 10 years, not to include new people coming in. So it's a big task that we have in front of us. And a common denominator in all these jobs are digital skills. Every one of our job has a primary or a secondary digital skill competence required. As a result, we need to find people that are either at a minimum digitally literate or ultimately digitally fluent in whatever their domain of responsibility is. So it's important for us to get this right. And we believe that the acceleration of digital needs is going to increase rapidly with machine learning, artificial intelligence, data analytics, and a whole host of new tools coming out that we haven't seen yet. So for us, this is job one. What will be important for us is really to get the plumbing right. How do we get the plumbing correct that we can enable the whole ecosystem to get full benefit and really to bring people and match them with the jobs? We're really happy that this is a business-led initiative because we have the jobs. But we also believe that the digital skills allow us to go into the entire ecosystem. There's a lot of trapped talent in our society, in the urban cores that we can activate. And we're taking an ecosystem approach to doing this. The first thing we're doing as a business leader is collaborating with the other business leaders. Our CEO, Jim Lurie, sits on the governor's workforce board and leads the business leadership committee with Marna Borgstrom, the CEO of Yale New Haven. We're thrilled to be working with Marna and the full team. The second thing is we're working with government. We think government is a key player at the table at the state level. We can see this initiative really taking full momentum with a really good plan. And at the federal level, we're trying to see how we can get Pell grants to be enabled for credentialing and tax deferment. We're working with nonprofits like the Business Higher Education Forum. Right now, we have an initiative in Connecticut to help 2,000 people negatively impacted by COVID to get jobs and digital skills. So working with the College of Technology. And then we believe schools and academia are really important for us also. So it's going to take everybody working together. And the plumbing is so important in this initiative that's set out in this plan, because we're not going to be done when we skill everyone. This is going to be an evolving and a revolving effort, because the needs will change over time. We're going to solve for jobs today. Jobs 10 years from now will be different. So Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Governor Lamont, for your consistent leadership around workforce development. We're really excited about the trajectory of Connecticut with the team. I think you're on mute, Kelly.
Thank you, Marty, and thank you so much for your leadership on this. We really greatly appreciate it. Now I'd like to introduce Jeff Blacks, President and CEO of Hartford Healthcare, and Marna Borstrom, CEO of Yale New Haven Health.
Thank you, Kelly. For Marna and I to be here today, it's a great honor, and certainly in healthcare, our industry in Connecticut plays such a vital and essential role. When we think about the revitalization of our cities, it's meds and eds, right, in so many ways. We think about creating a state with strong economic health. Healthcare is a driver. And at the same time, to make this state a place that people want to live, to raise families, to retire, to be well, the strength of our healthcare systems becomes absolutely essential. And it's a great privilege for us to be serving and to be partnering with the governor in these efforts around workforce development. Healthcare is transforming, and while it transforms, it's absolutely critical that we continue to identify the new skill sets, the new capabilities that will be necessary. The sophistication, the technological advancements in healthcare are happening nearly daily. And to ensure that we're investing in our workforce, that we're attracting people with the correct capabilities and skills to meet the needs of this emerging aspects of our healthcare field, requires us to anticipate, to develop and invest in these different partnerships, and in many ways to help people get those stackable credentials, to identify so many people who work within our organizations who aspire for new opportunities, and to help them through partnerships with higher education, our colleges, our universities, our different training programs throughout the state, so that we can create efficient ways for people to advance and help us ensure that across the state we have the right capabilities. 16% of all the nurses who work in our health system alone, and I think we're a reasonably good proxy in that regard for the state, are of near retirement age. So even within our own organizations, there's going to be a massive number of people advancing to retirement. And how we ensure, again, within our state that we're attracting, building our workforce becomes absolutely critical. And we're seeing the emergence of new areas like advanced practitioners, who are providing increasingly important primary care services within our community. The types of technological support positions like radiology technicians, who are helping us as we've developed. There's such sophisticated imaging platforms emerging. Things that we're seeing around public health, right, around health equity, which is our most essential calling in so many ways today. We're seeing the need to help people emerging who are coming out of school today to partner with us on addressing these exceptionally important efforts around creating health equity within our state and all of our communities. And then issues around just the notion of the IT type related fields and all of these different critical resources that allow our health systems to perform the miracles that get done every single day. There's an increasing number of sophisticated services that we require. So we're working hard to anticipate these issues. Certainly, both Marna and I, we partner together, work closely together. We work with the Connecticut Hospital Association, and importantly, with all of our public and private educational systems across the state, to ensure that we are anticipating these issues and investing. And I think this type of council, the Workforce Development Council the governor's put forth, is absolutely essential, because the time to address these issues is not when it's immediately necessary, then it's too late. It's to foresee it and to be in front of it. And I think that's what, under the governor's leadership, is happening here in the state. And we're blessed with tremendous world-class healthcare capabilities around the state of Connecticut. And to do that, we rely on tremendous people And we have to continue to invest in our people, and that's exactly what's being discussed today, and where commitments from places like Yale New Haven Health and Hartford Healthcare are very much in the forefront. So please, Marna.
Well, thanks. And in the interest of time, Jeff, you've covered, quite a lot there. And I'll just pivot off of something you said and something Marty said early on. We are hiring a lot of different kinds of talent, and even the basic talents of caregivers, whether they're nurses or radiology technologists, are increasingly requiring technical skills, as Marty described, because telehealth, doing more remote monitoring, more ability to manage patients at home requires that people pivot, and they not just build their clinical skills, but they build technological skills. Or, if you bring people in who aren't sure what they want to do and they start as a clinical nursing associate and want to go into nursing or into IT or something else, I think that as with Hartford Healthcare, we have very robust tuition assistance programs and mentoring programs. So once you bring people in, you help them figure out where their passion is, where they want to grow. And then we have a lot of resources, including financial resources, to enable them to do that.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeff and Marna. Really appreciate your comments there. Now I'd like to introduce Ravi Kumar, President of Infosys. Ravi?
Thank you, Kelly, for your leadership, and thanks for the opportunity to talk here. We're back in 2018. Infosys decided to hire at a national scale, and we committed to set up 6 hubs in the United States. And we chose Connecticut as one of those hubs to deliver to digital services for large enterprises. Thanks to the leadership of the governor then, Governor Lamont actually convinced us to be a part of the state of Connecticut and support that process of building tech jobs and digital jobs for the future. I'm very excited about the work we are doing jointly with the Workforce Council of the governor, along with you and your team. And since we made that announcement in 2018, we have actually got 750 plus jobs hired in the state of Connecticut. We committed 1,000 jobs then, and we are on track to get to that 1,000. This is a very critical time for tech and digital services. I think all the leaders who spoke before me, almost underscored that point. Every enterprise across the world is in some ways becoming a tech and a digital firm, deeply embedded on digital technologies across the value chain of those enterprises. There are 3 broad trends which are driving a significant shift in the way we look at skills of the future, and how the Workforce Council of the governor is gearing up for it. First of all, there is going to be rapid digitization and rapid dispersion of business models. What happened in 10 years on e-commerce, just to give you an example, has happened in the last 1 year in terms of just rapid digitization. Dispersion is happening all across all industries. Every industry is going through rapid transition, powered by digital technologies. Healthcare, we just heard, is going to get dispersed into homes of people. Education is getting dispersed into homes. Manufacturing is going through super cycles of change. Telecom is going through 5G revolution. The automotive sector is transitioning, where cars are going to become connected devices. So there is so much which is going to be spent. Just in the United States, there are 2 million open jobs in tech and digital even today. And it's all about how do we actually reskill, repurpose existing talent pools, and drive them to these jobs. The 3 transitions, as I spoke about: rapid digitization and dispersion, virtualization of work. It doesn't matter now where and which part of the US work is getting executed, which essentially means Connecticut can not just serve clients in Connecticut, it can actually serve clients across the US and, for that matter, across the world. And of course, AI, as one of the business leaders spoke about, is taking away jobs of the past but creating jobs of the future. But AI is also shrinking the life of skills. So in partnership with Trinity, we actually went beyond STEM skills. And in the last 2 years, we hired liberal arts graduates to be a part of the digital revolution. We are creating data scientists from liberal arts. And in recent times, we have started to go to community colleges and hire without degrees. The state of Connecticut actually has 2/3 of its workforce without a degree. And this is our opportunity to bridge the digital divide, if I may, through skills. And just last week, we made this announcement that we're going to do 250 jobs without degrees in the state of Connecticut. And we're going to partner with the Workforce Council of the Governor to draw this talent from pools of talent which doesn't have a degree, people who are looking for mid-career shift from other industries. It is not very difficult. With the 8 to 6 weeks of reskill training, we could move them to jobs of the future. So we're very excited about the times we are in and the opportunity Connecticut has with the good work we're doing in the Workforce Council of the Governor.
Thank you so much, Ravi. That's so exciting. And we thank you for your commitment to Connecticut and growing jobs in Connecticut, and for your innovative thoughts on how we do that together. Again, thank you. I'd like to introduce now Rona Free, President of the University of St. Joseph.
Good morning. Thank you, Kelly. As Kelly said, I'm president of the University of St. Joseph, but today I'm also honored to represent all of the nonprofit institutions of higher education in the state. The 15 independent colleges award about half of all bachelor's degrees awarded in the state every year, 64% of the graduate degrees. And in terms of specific industry clusters, the independent colleges produce 67% of the bachelor's degrees and above in the health professions, more than half of the degrees in biological and biomedical sciences, physical sciences, engineering technologies, computer and information sciences, and just about 48%, just about half of all of the engineering degrees. So I know that just at the University of St. Joseph in a few weeks, we're looking forward to graduating hundreds of nurses, for example, at the bachelor's, master's, and doctoral level, pharmacists, PA students, nutritionists, and so on. All of the independent colleges in the state do respond rapidly to changes in employer and workforce needs. At the University of St. Joseph, for example, a few years ago, we launched a blockchain training program. Now we've incorporated all of that training into our standard computer and information science program. We created a new digital communications in Spanish media program, an online master's in public health. We are now incorporating telehealth in all of our counseling and healthcare trainings. And it's certainly not just the University of St. Joseph. At the University of Bridgeport, in their School of Education, they've created a cross-endorsement program so that students in their teacher education programs in math or English or social studies are also cross-endorsed in computer science. So getting back to what Marty talked about in terms of building the foundation for digital literacy. The University of Hartford just launched a new undergraduate program in aerospace engineering to meet the need there. University of New Haven created the cybersecurity boot camp last year. So all of the independent colleges do what they can to respond rapidly to the changing needs. In terms of what the University of St. Joseph is hoping to do in the near future, we'll continue to expand our programs that offer accelerated credentialing in healthcare. The day that our nursing students graduate in May, we will start construction of an entire new wing in a building to incorporate the most high fidelity mannequins for training, completely new simulation labs, again, to get at the points that have been made about the need for technological skills. We're eager to develop new programs in nutrition, to meet the needs of all types of healthcare providers. And I think one of the things that's really critical for all of our institutions is to continue to be able to provide good clinical placements for students while they are pursuing their degrees. And I think we would all be very interested in new opportunities for faculty members to, for example, spend summers inside corporations or organizations so they can see exactly what skills they need to be providing to their students. So I'm happy to have the opportunity to share a little bit of information about all of the offerings of the independent colleges today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rona. It's really exciting to hear how progressive that the programs are at your university, and we really thank you for all the work that you're doing to keep on the cutting edge of technology in those fields. Now I'd like to introduce Jim Lambella. He's a regional president of the Northwest region of CSCU, and Eileen Pelletier, the Chief Regional Workforce Officer.
Thank you, Kelly. And I want to start off by saying thank you to Governor Lamont for the invitation to join today, and also for your focus on workforce development. Having been in our CSCU system for the past 12 years and having had the opportunity to serve as president of his Nantucket Community College, Tungus Community College, and for the past 2 years as Northwest Regional President for his Nantucket, Tungus, Northwestern Connecticut, and Naugatuck Valley, I can say that the current state collaborations in the work of the Governor's Workforce Council and our new Office of Workforce Strategy is the most alignment I have ever seen in our state. It is truly an exciting time to be in Connecticut under your leadership. Our community colleges provide workforce development programs that offer the skills to secure a career and not just a job. It is critical that we give our residents the opportunity for pathways that lead to livable wage careers with upward mobility options. Our Connecticut community colleges provide a variety of advanced manufacturing technology programs, with many offered through our College of Technology and our Advanced Manufacturing Technology Centers, as well as other advanced manufacturing programs, all with stackable certificates, credentials, and pathways. These include many short-term programs that bring students up to speed quickly, allowing them to secure paid internships, apprenticeships, and employment. We offer a variety of credit programs, 35 credits or fewer, and these credits earned are stackable to our College of Technology associate degrees. In as little as 24 weeks, an individual can earn a credit certificate with over a 95% job placement rate. These are all stackable to our associate degrees and then transferred to our four-year institutions. We also offer non-credit certificate programs in business and industry partnership trainings. We have short-term training, pipeline, incumbent worker, and other on-demand training where the length of time varies from 1 week to 16 weeks or more in length. Certificate length is determined by the employer and is fully customizable training and industry-driven to meet the demands in our different regions. These non-credit short-term certificates can also be eligible for credit at the end using a test-out model if desired by the employer. These certificates can be stackable and lead into credit certificates as well as the degree programs. Examples include everything from digital literacy, IT, healthcare, CNC machining, mechatronics, robotics, automation, industry 4.0, welding and fabrication, and additive 3D manufacturing, just to name a few. Stackable means that individuals can get skills that lead to employment and then take these stackable credentials they have in their pocket and upskill and expand these skill sets as they progress in their careers. Often employers are offering tuition reimbursement for these employees to continue their education and climb the ladder of advancement within their organizations. At our community colleges, our advanced manufacturing programs and workforce development departments work closely with our industry partners to develop short-term, just-in-time training to meet industry demand. These programs have industry advisory boards that provide input into the curriculum, as we also work closely with our workforce investment boards to be the educational provider by region. In closing, our community college system has many short-term certificate programs that lead to employment, are stackable for continuing education and lifelong learning. These include everything from healthcare programs, IT programs, business programs, and our advanced manufacturing programs. Our new regional structure is effective and successful, and since July, we have already secured more than $6 million for training programs to residents across our state through our 12 community colleges, working hand in hand with our regional workforce investment boards. I'd like to introduce one of our new workforce officers, Eileen Pelletier, who can discuss this success and the programs we have been able to offer during this unprecedented past year. And then we'll hear directly from one of our students currently in one of our accelerated training programs. Over to you, Eileen.
Thanks, Jim. Good morning, everyone. As Jim said, I'm Eileen Pelletier, Chief Regional Workforce Development Officer of the Northwest region. Along with my colleagues, Diane Bordenaro and Christina Testa-Buzzi, we lead workforce development initiatives across all 12 Connecticut community colleges. I'm very pleased to talk about the training the community colleges provided using CARES Act funds. This is a successful model we plan to replicate with future funding. We targeted Connecticut residents who had been affected by COVID. Many were hospitality, retail, and restaurant workers who had lost their jobs due to the pandemic. By reskilling them in healthcare occupations, we were able to address two problems at once: their unemployment and the exploding demand for healthcare professionals in Connecticut. Thanks to funding from DECD directly to the colleges and funding from Capital Workforce Partners, we were able to offer short-term career training for Connecticut residents to become certified nurse aides, sterile processing technicians, pharmacy technicians, EMTs, and registered medical assistants. That last program is actually still in session. The programs funded by Capital Workforce Partners have wrapped up, and we can report that 85% of the students successfully completed their program, despite the many challenges of going to school during a pandemic. This funding has made a real difference in the lives of Connecticut residents. For example, one of our students lost her job as a school bus driver, took our accelerated CNA program, and is now working at Cherry Brook Healthcare Center in Canton. This success is due to the strong collaboration between Capital Workforce Partners, Strive, SVP, DECD, and the colleges. The flexibility of these funds allowed for support services that helped our students succeed. We were able to provide stipends for living expenses. We purchased laptops and printers so that students could do their online classwork. We also hired achievement or success coaches who tracked the students' academic progress and intervened to address issues that could have derailed the students' successful completion of their programs. These wraparound services are integral to our students' success, and we plan to incorporate them into future projects. Additionally, we embed an employability skills course into all of our programs, CARES Act funded or not, so that students don't just have the technical skills to perform their new jobs, but they have the soft skills to fit into the workplace culture. We thank Governor Lamont for his support of our efforts and look forward to continuing to work together to benefit Connecticut residents and employers. It is now my pleasure to introduce Gabriella Ballesteros, a current online registered medical assistant student at Tungus Community College. Gabriella is an A student and comes from Torrington, and she's having a little bit of technical difficulties, so she can't hear us, and I told her I would text her when it's time for her to speak, so hopefully she got my text.
My name is Gabriella, and I'm a student in the online registered medical assistant program at Tungus Community College. I am appreciative of this opportunity, and surprisingly, the COVID pandemic has given me the chance to branch out and find new career paths regarding the medical field. I did work as babysitter and receptionist at my local YMCA while I was furloughed. However, I was presented with a few job opportunities that involved working in the healthcare field, and as a result, actively enhanced my medical knowledge. I'm currently working as a medical scribe in the ER and helping with various COVID vaccine clinics throughout the state. I believe the training that I received from this program will position me for long-term success in the healthcare industry. I've learned so much from my educators, which I'm forever thankful for. I cannot imagine the stress that my professors have overcome while teaching through a pandemic, especially through an online program, which has obviously been a new experience for all of us. This program has provided me so much outside of an education, including providing me with a printer, which has been super helpful. I'm grateful for the support and resources that they have given us despite being remote. And the success coaches have also been with me since the beginning of the program. And having Beth, Michelle, and Shayna throughout all of this has made me realize how much they actually care about us, not only on an educational level, but a personal level as well. And eventually, my career goals include working in a pediatric setting. I'm interested in directly helping patients and their families, but also practicing skills. I love meeting new people and learning how I can lend a hand to them. And one day I hope to become a pediatric nurse, and working as a medical assistant will definitely help me better my skills as an RN. My confidence in achieving these goals is elevated primarily because of my experience within this program, and the knowledge it has provided me is immeasurable. My instructors are not the only ones that I have learned from within this program as well. My classmates are a diverse group of people that have also taught me through their personal experiences and educational advice. And obviously, COVID has been an unusual experience for everyone, but fortunately, for the most part, I feel like we've been able to overcome a majority of the obstacles that it came with. And lastly, I would like to thank Tungus Community College, all my instructors, my success coaches, and of course, Governor Lamont for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, Gabriella. What an inspiring story. And we're really wishing you the best in your future and looking forward to keeping in touch with you. And thank you to Jim and Eileen. You know, the community colleges are a really vital part of our workforce system, and we appreciate all the work that you do to keep up with the changing demands of industry. Now I'd like to introduce Dante Bartomanello, Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Labor.
Thank you, Kelly. So I'm Dante Bartolomeo, Deputy Commissioner, as Kelly said, Department of Labor. Thank you for having us here. It was really uplifting to hear from Gabriella just now, so that was wonderful. On behalf of Commissioner Westby and the Connecticut Department of Labor, I'd like to thank Governor Lamont and Secretary McCaw for dedicating $2 million of this new funding to youth employment. This is programming that's available both during the summer and throughout the year. And in addition to increased work experiences, this funding will be used statewide and system-wide to address areas of need that we've been talking about in the Connecticut Department of Labor with the regional workforce boards and partners and with the youth that we all serve. Based upon surveys and conversations that we've had, we know where the gaps are that need to be filled, and we're now able to start doing that with this opportunity and funding. We are going to be able to address critical and targeted enhanced wraparound services and supports like mental health support and supplemental food provisions and unique employment experiences that aren't currently part of our prescribed programming. For example, youth ambassadors for employers and peer mentoring, all of which we believe will greatly improve participant success beyond the term of their employment. We want to foster their success because these youth employment programs can be so much more than a first job or supplemental family income. Through this additional funding, we can help to create a connection between their youth employment experience and career pathways. So for some, this may be returning to and finishing high school. And for others, it might be encouraging post-secondary education, whether that's registered apprenticeship programs or career training or college. We are really excited as Department of Labor for this opportunity to spark an interest that will put these youth on a path for lifelong success in the workforce. So thank you, Governor Lamont. Thank you, Secretary McCaw and Kelly Valeries.
Thank you so much, Dante. We so greatly appreciate our partnership with the Department of Labor. I'd like to now introduce David Roche. He's the president of the Connecticut Building Trades. Thank you,
Thank you, Kelly. Good morning. So my name is Dave Roach, president of the Connecticut State Building and Construction Trades. So I represent the 13 unionized different trades in the state of Connecticut. So I like to kind of look at us as old hats at this, right? Because we've been doing training programs in construction for over 100 years. Workforce development is basically what we do probably best, and probably what we've made the most investment in the state and around the country. So where we see the opportunities coming, you can see these new energy technologies, right? The wind, the solar, the data centers that are being proposed out there, the infrastructure that could be coming from this, from the stuff that the administration is doing now in Washington. But those are all great opportunities for us. So I think what we need to do is take something from our old book of tricks. I'm a trade school graduate from Prince Tech, a long time ago, many years ago, and they used to do a rotation. So what you did was when you went to trade school, your first year you went to every craft, and you decided what you kind of liked the most. You get to work there for a couple of weeks and figure it out. We need to go into the communities that might not have had these opportunities and work with what we already kind of have is the funnel programs, building pathways. And what's that's going to do? That's going to let people come in and kind of get a feel, right? We got these training centers sitting here that just like the school systems in the summer times, they're pretty much empty. We should have these programs, and we should be having these young people going around and visiting each and work there for a week, right? We can develop this program and give them certain things like OSHA, the OSHA 30 classes, things that we can give them and they can walk away with something that gives them a head start from anybody else that's just coming, knocking on the door. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to invest in the funnels to get these pre-apprenticeship programs basically started, which are already there, like I said. So we just need to put them on steroids and get them going a little stronger. There's a huge opportunity coming with some of the money that's being let out for indoor air quality in schools, right? I'm a sheet metal worker by trade. We are already working with a group called NEMA, the National Energy Maintenance Institute, that is developing how to go into schools and actually look at that school and say, this is what you need to do to retrofit for these new systems coming in, right? You may not need a whole new air system. You may need to just do this and do that. But instead of just going in and just ripping everything out and starting over, but these are new skills that we have available to us already. So we just need to get that in people that want to do it, right? Somebody that says, I want to be a sheet metal worker, I want to be a pipe fitter, I want to be a plumber, and understand it a little bit better before they jump into it. And in them cases, a lot of times we find that they don't like it, and then they wasted a year of their time or 2 years of their time. So the investment that the state's making in some of the projects that are coming up, like I said, with the wind and the air, the solar, these are all great opportunities for a whole new group of future construction workers in the state of Connecticut. So thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you so much, David, and really appreciate your insights there and how important career awareness is to the whole career process and the ability to really get the trades, get young kids involved in the trades and all the great opportunities that brings. So thank you. I appreciate that. Next, I'd like to introduce Joe Carbone, President and CEO of The Workplace.
Thank you, Kelly. And this has been such an uplifting morning. I wish we can take excerpts from the remarks from so many of the speakers. It speaks so well for the great state of Connecticut that this has been just a wonderful program so far. I have got two matters to bring up, and one has to do with the business of manufacturing. And I think a major step that Connecticut has taken that's kind of been quiet right now, but it's one that from June on, we're going to be hearing a great deal about. Derby High School in the Valley has had a manufacturing program for a good number of years. It's gotten better and better and better, and its equipment is state-of-the-art completely, and it's available for students of the school. But there was no effort ever to use it in the evening, let alone use it for adults. But that's going to change. The first week of June, actually, Kelly had written me about 2 months ago, and she had spoken to someone who said that's a possibility. And she asked me to check it out, and I did. And we tested the waters to see if there was interest, and there is. We worked out the financing for it, so that's done. So I'm pleased to say that come the 7th of June, we're going to have an adult training program in manufacturing, program that Houston Community College is very much involved in. In fact, the certificate will come from there. It's a pathway into a program that will take to a degree program at Housatonic. So we'll begin. We've got a full class of 16 people already signed up. We're ready with a second class shortly thereafter. It's going to go on for 8 weeks. And it's an example of this resurgence of manufacturing. That's what it was in the Valley for years. So Kelly, thank you for having brought it to our attention and to help to make it happen. Second issue, something I've been involved in most of my career in workforce development, is long-term unemployment. It's a problem all over the country, and it's a problem here in our state as well. We've got nearly 200,000 people that are either collecting unemployment or, for whatever reason, are no longer in the workforce. And what we know is that about 40% of the total unemployed in Connecticut have already reached that point of long-term unemployment. That would be defined as 27 weeks of being out of work. And we've learned, certainly through the period of the Great Recession, that something happens at that point. It happens to the person in terms of the mind, in terms of skills, in terms of their self-confidence, and so many other issues. And it happens with employers as well. When you've got a rich market of talent, there tends to be a disregard for people who are long-term unemployed. Often people that are long-term unemployed get blamed for their own unemployment. And that's not the case, but that does happen. So we've got a program that I think does two things. Number one, we're working hard on the avoidance of long-term unemployment. It's important that we break the cycle of long-term unemployment, and the best way to do that is for people to get back to work. Sometimes benefits, unemployment benefits, and bonuses get in the way of that. And as much as I'm heartful for the people that need to receive them, we need to get beyond that point and understand that you do more harm long-term, the longer that you stay out of work. So we got a program, Platform to Employment, and the state of Connecticut has been actually funding this program now for seven years. We run it in several different states around our nation. It's designed to help people that are long-term unemployed overcome long-term unemployment. And it will bring back their self-confidence, deal with the emotional challenges that they have, and it works out a market-driven way of getting them back to work. That's a major priority of the workplace. And with a good economy that I think we see happening in our state, my expectation is that in the next year or so that we can effectively do this. And we as a community can communicate the message to people that are unemployed, go back to work. Don't fall victim of an equation that may very well show that you would be almost as better off not working as you are working. That's dangerous. That does enormous harm to the individual in terms of their future. I'm committed to breaking that, and I'm committed to continuing to promote a program that 80% of the people that were long-term unemployed all across this country, 80% of them that went through Platform to Employment went to work. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you for all of your work with the long-term unemployed. It's an issue that you keep bringing up and an important one that we make sure that we keep on the radar. And thank you for your work with Derby High School. It's my pleasure now to introduce Kathy Awad, President and CEO of Northwestern Regional Workforce Investment Board.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for the opportunity today, and thank you to the governor. As you know, Kelly, the 5 regional workforce development boards that serve Connecticut's job seekers and employers have long recognized the importance of and the need to provide job seekers with the supports necessary for them to be successful in their training for and placement into meaningful, family-sustaining employment. Our longstanding practice of providing support services was tremendously enhanced with the CARES Act dollars that were made available. These additional funds, in fact, over $1 million was allocated to the 5 regional boards who made it possible, and this made it possible to extend our supportive services to job training programs that may not have had sufficient funding, as well as to expand the list of supportive services that were made available. The supportive services that we were able to provide included technology, transportation, participation stipends, childcare, and other forms of assistance that were addressed on a case-by-case basis. The supportive services that we provided in the area of technology included issuances of Chromebooks and laptops to participants enrolled in virtual training that has become the norm, specifically during the height of the pandemic. In some cases, it was necessary to provide participants with connectivity in the form of Wi-Fi cards and hotspots that allowed them to connect to their online classrooms and virtual training portals. Stipends were paid to participants and during benchmarks along the way of their training programs, both as an incentive to continue and a reward for their completion. The transportation assistance proved most important in providing numerous participants efforts to get them to their workplace. This type of assistance took the forms of bus passes, gas cards, and subsidized rides utilizing Uber and Lyft. And still other participants received supportive services dollars to get their vehicle road ready. So that allowed them to accept employment in areas where public transportation might be underutilized or is underserved. Child care supports were augmented with the help of the Office of Early Childhood in providing prepaid child care slots in vital needed areas in and around the state. Kelly, as we continue to move forward in upskilling and reskilling our Connecticut's workforce, access to these types of supports will be paramount to continuing Connecticut's recovery of our economy. And I would encourage anyone interested in learning more about the opportunity to enroll in these programs and secure these support dollars to reach out to us and learn more. They can do that at workforcect.org. And again, to all of the employers and training providers on the call, we stand shoulder to shoulder with you as we continue to provide the needed training, placement, and most importantly, the supportive services to allow for success. Kelly, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you so much for all of your work and understanding how vital supportive services are, especially with everyone who's been affected by COVID and getting them upskilled and reskilled and back to work. Appreciate your efforts and your continued involvement in that. Now I'd like to introduce Sue Figurino. She is the Global Head of Operations for Travelers. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Kelly, colleagues, and the Governor. I'm Sue Figueredo, and I'm honored to be here on behalf of Travelers and very pleased to partner with Governor Lamont and key business leaders across Connecticut on this very important partnership. As many of our strong colleagues have already shared in their comments, the level of transformation across all of our industries is unprecedented, and the opportunity for new skills and roles is at unparalleled levels. With what has been clearly demonstrated today as a strong partnership across leaders in Connecticut and the commitment to the Governor's Workforce Council, we are extremely well positioned to capitalize on these changes. Travelers has proudly called Hartford our home for more than 150 years. It's a great place to live and work, a great place to raise a family, and has so much to offer. Attracting a high quality, diverse workforce to the area benefits individuals, local employers, and the entire community. At Travelers, we've put significant resources into our recruitment efforts. In addition to our underwriting, actuary, and other talent historically associated within the insurance industry, we're also focused on those with expertise in technology and data and analytics. All of this is so that we can continue to provide innovative solutions and exceptional service to our customers, agents, and brokers in an increasingly digital world. Despite the challenges of the past year, we have remained committed to welcoming experienced professionals as well as recent grads. And we also continue to invest in and enhance our talent pipeline through college internships and programs like Travelers Edge, which focuses on supporting underrepresented students and preparing them for college and their careers. And as the school year winds down, we are very much looking forward to welcoming our new interns coming in this month. In recognition of the growing need for technology and data analytic skill sets, we're expanding our partnership with UConn with a very specific opportunity to collaborate with the Dean of Engineering and explore what we're really excited, which is some really interesting research opportunities. Beyond our hiring efforts, we continue to adapt to the changes brought on by the pandemic. We've expanded our virtual onboarding and training across nearly all of our roles. We've leveraged and extended our strength in virtual tools to bring our employees together to maintain and advance our strong collaborative culture. And we are extremely proud of all of our leaders who have not let distance get in the way of building relationships with our customers and one another. So thank you again, Governor Lamont, and everyone here today. We look forward to engaging actively in the Workforce Council, promoting all the wonderful attributes of living and working in Connecticut, and supporting, of course, the local economy for all of our residents. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. Travelers has just been an icon in Connecticut for, as you say, 150 years, and we really appreciate your commitment to workforce development and your work on the Workforce Council. I'd like to now introduce Andrew Bond and Mark Hill. Andrew is Vice President of Human Resources at Electric Boat, and Mark is the President and CEO of the Eastern Connecticut Workforce Investment Board.
Thank you, Kelly. It's clearly an exciting time for workforce development in Connecticut and also at Electric Boat. Electric Boat is in a period of growth that we really haven't seen since World War II or since the peak of the Cold War as we work to meet the needs of our nation. To put that in context, last year we hired 2,000 people across all areas of our business, and this year we'll hire another 2,400 people there again across all areas of our business. But I'd like to speak specifically about the more than 300 that will hire into operations at the Groton shipyard. The manufacturing pipeline initiative that's been ongoing for several years is absolutely key to our success. It's not only an established and very successful model for us, but we were able to demonstrate over the course of this past year the flexibility, the innovation, and the commitment of the partners across the initiative, because we were able to not only continue to train during the pandemic, but we increased our capacity despite the restrictions that we were underneath. And that's just a testament to the work of the partnership and the commitment of everyone. Because as we look forward, our need is persistent and long-term. As we look to the future in Groton, our peak hiring won't be until 2029. And so if you think about that, our future workforce are in the third grade today. Because as I said, we'll hire 300 people into operations this year, but that will continue every year, and we'll get to a rate of about 600 a year that we'll be hiring into the trades as we seek to double the Groton waterfront over the next 10 years. And so that's a tall order, but the programs like this are key to being successful. Right, we're already involved in the elementary schools, the middle schools, and the high schools to introduce careers in shipbuilding and manufacturing. And as other speakers have talked about, the role of the CTEs and stackable credentials of value are just key enablers to that. As we look nearer term, we're looking to introduce careers in shipbuilding to those that don't yet know they want to be shipbuilders. And part of that is moving into regions where they haven't been our traditional hiring grounds, in those non-traditional populations and underserved communities. And as Kathy spoke very well a few moments ago, those supportive services are absolutely key, providing childcare, transportation, and stipends to allow those people the time to get the training and to get established as they build those skills and then come to us for a long-term career. Right, we offer a career that spans decades with continued skills development, and really the start of all that is the Manufacturing Pipeline Initiative. And so I'd like to turn it over to Mark to talk more about that.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks very much. So 5 years ago, we launched the sector partnership in the eastern part of the state around manufacturing. The genesis of this program was a number of employers came to our board and said, can you help us? We need to hire a lot of people. We need to hire them very quickly. What they were asking us to do is to stand up a job skills training program such that we can equip our workforce with the skills that were needed by the manufacturers. We had one request to the manufacturers at that time. We need your leadership to design and develop every element of this program. That's what was done. Fast forward to today, we placed more than 1,700 people in jobs. It had more than 80 training classes, 3 or 4 times more than we ever anticipated. More than the numbers, I would say that the program and any sector partnership that's well designed creates a win-win for the employer. They gain access to a pipeline of talent, which previously they may not have had. It's a win for the job seeker and the worker. They're equipped with skills that the employer has asked for and designed in the training curriculum such that they know when they come out of the program, there's a job likely waiting for them. So I would thank Governor Lamont and Kelly and her team. Their focus on sector partnerships is using the East as an example will revolutionize the workforce development industry in the state of Connecticut on behalf of our employers and our job seekers. And I thank Andrew and his team. Electric Boat and other manufacturers in our region have been tremendous partners. Kelly, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Andrew and Mark. And the MPI program is definitely a flagship model, and congratulations on all the success and national recognition for these best practices and helping us to emulate them across the state. Next, I'd like to introduce Mark Pelka. He's the Undersecretary for Criminal Justice Policy and Planning at the Office of Policy and Management. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Kelly, and good morning, everyone. I would like to associate myself with Joe Carbone's remarks earlier about how feel-good of a meeting this is. I wish we could bottle it and I could have it on hand for times when maybe my spirits aren't quite as high. And I think it's a reflection of the moment that we're in. And I see Governor Lamont is here, and I think across the state, we feel it, the progress being made against the pandemic, the distribution of vaccines, and the hope that we have for the spring and summer ahead. It's a credit to your leadership and just truly how intertwined addressing the public health emergency and growing the economy truly is. I would like to thank the Office of Workforce Strategy, the Department of Economic and Community Development for including criminal and juvenile justice in the discussion today. It has been a difficult year for everyone in our state, and it has also especially been for at-risk youth and justice-involved adults. When you think about the young people, you're thinking about dislocation from in-person learning in many cases. You're thinking about interruption of after school, interruption of youth enrichment activities. And what an opportunity there is with the investment being announced today to help prepare at-risk youth to succeed, to take the initial steps, to build the skills to succeed in the workplace. Marrying that training with pro-social activities, reattachment to education, to help those young people move forward productively as future employees and to make themselves more attractive. Knowing the intersection between education and work, you can have a tremendous impact on young people. When you think about adults in the criminal justice system or adults with criminal records, you can imagine how challenging the last year has been. The criminal justice system has had to adapt from not just day one, but hour one to the pandemic, which means that navigating the criminal justice system has become harder for people. There may not be an address to report to. You may have to tap into digital skills that you may not have used before. Social service agencies may feel different or be distancing or even shut down. But the hope that I think is generated today is the fact that there are funds included in the American Recovery Plan by DECD focusing on these populations. And what matters is that the Governor's Workforce Council and the Office of Workforce Strategy recognizes that people with criminal records, at-risk youth, can help to contribute to addressing the workforce challenges that I've heard from the business leaders, the employers, the job creators who are here today. And that's why I'm so proud to be with you all, because nothing gets more American than the work that you all are doing to grow this economy, to build jobs, to strengthen our workforce. And we know in criminal justice what works to lower recidivism, to improve outcomes, just as you know in workforce development how to improve outcomes. And we can blend those together to prepare people with the skills they need to succeed in the workplace. Criminal justice system sorts people according to the level of risk and need that they have, just like workforce development does. Some people are going to need some intensive services, some other ones a little bit lighter, but you can bridge those together and achieve maximum impact from your resources. And for criminal justice, there will be some people who might need transitional employment, temporary salary assistance, intensive programming to surround the pro-social skills that they're applying in the workplace, while others may need some coaching on how to use soft skills in a job interview or workplace, perhaps how to talk about a criminal record that comes up in a background check. Criminal records affect large portions of our population. 1 in 3 Americans are estimated to have a criminal record. There is potential, enormous untapped talent out there in Connecticut, ready to step up and contribute to the workforce needs of employers across our state. And I applaud human resource managers, employers, business leaders, agency leaders, workforce development providers, our governor, for recognizing this intersection between criminal justice and workforce development. And with these resources, as our state moves forward through and past the pandemic, and our economy continues to roar back, there is talent that can come forward to meet this need and to succeed. Because our goal with this fusion of criminal justice and workforce development is not just filling a job for a person in a temporary basis or a short-term way. We all know how it felt to have that first job, right? You get to interact with the public or your customers. You get to apply your hard skills, your soft skills. You get to provide for your family. You get to imagine the rungs of that career ladder that you're climbing. And that's what research shows works for people in the criminal justice system or with criminal records who are facing challenges getting going in employment. We want to aspire to help them build that resume and work their way through. And with these critical American Rescue Plan dollars that we're announcing today, we have a multi-year plan for how to achieve that. think comprehensively and broadly, not just within one silo or the Department of Correction or a probation parole, but across our state, because that talent is available for you all to consider. So many thanks to you, Governor Lamont, for your leadership on this issue and recognizing from your business background and your leadership, the intersection between these areas. And I'm excited for the work that lies ahead.
Thank you so much, Mark. And we're really looking forward to partnering with you and making a real difference in the lives of those people that you serve. And it's my pleasure now to introduce to you Representatives Carolyn Simmons and Representative Carrie Wood, and they're going to share with us some of their comments from today's guest speakers, and then we'll be hearing from Governor Lamont momentarily. Thank you, Representatives.
Good morning, everyone. This is Caroline Simmons, State Representative from Stamford and co-chair of the Commerce Committee. I just want to say first a huge thank you to Governor Lamont, to Kelly, and to all of the workforce development leaders and business leaders and healthcare leaders we have on this call today. This is such an inspiring collaborative effort, and just grateful for all that you do to support our state, to support workforce development and jobs in Connecticut. And this effort is so vital, particularly in this moment in time when we're looking to recover from the pandemic and help over 500,000 people in our state who had to file for unemployment regain work, and also to upskill new employees for future emerging industries, and to prepare our workers for the future of work for industries like clean energy jobs and fintech and data science. So I couldn't be more honored to be here with you all today and to be in this effort with you to help lift up families out of poverty, to help provide meaningful jobs and dignity to folks who need work, and to help our economy. This is critical to attracting businesses and preparing our workforce for 21st century jobs. So thank you so much, everyone, and great to see you all virtually.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Really appreciate your comments and your support. And it looks like we might have lost Representative Wood. So with that, I'd finally like to introduce our keynote speaker, Governor Lamont, and looking forward to hearing your reactions to our conversation.
Yeah, that was fascinating. Okay, it's been a hell of a year and everything has changed, but not the importance of workforce and making sure that people are trained for the jobs that are out there, and making sure we reach out that nobody is left behind, making sure that Connecticut stays the most competitive economy in the world. Look, my competitors down there in Texas, they get the resale oil, and Florida, they get the resale sunshine. The greatest strength we've got as a state, I think our greatest competitive advantage is the quality of our workforce. And we got to work at that, and we got to work at that every day. Something my friend Garrett Moran always reminds me of, and Kelly taking the lead here for the Workforce Council. Look, we're making the biggest commitment to workforce development in the history of the state. And it comes at a particularly opportune time. It comes at a time you may say, oh, we've got 140,000 people are unemployed. It's tough. But remember, last month, we had more job postings than we've had in the last decade. There are jobs out there. Our job is to train people for the jobs that are out there right now. And in case you haven't been listening, job postings for healthcare have doubled. I see Marna and Jeff were on here before. No question, they know that from the healthcare space. Gabriella, if you're looking for a job, they run the hospital, so keep that in mind. I see that in manufacturing, it's almost up 170%. So, Joe Carbone, what you do in terms of manufacturing, look, that's no secret to Andrew Bond and the workforce guys. And Joe, what you do to give people who otherwise sometimes wouldn't have a chance, you give them a chance and know what that can mean for them. We've got, I think, $4 or $5 million allocated to those who have long-term unemployment, those who are disengaged, those coming out of the justice system. And like Mark said, give these folks their opportunity. All they need is a little bit of training in that job. And IT, I see Ravi Kumar was here, Sunos and Travelers, everybody's in IT business now. It's not just Amazon and Facebook. And we have to step up our act in order to make sure that we can help all of our industries transform themselves in terms of where we've got to go over this next decade to stay competitive. So, look, we're allocating well over $100 million over the next few years to transform what we do. Make sure that Representative Wood and Representative Simmons step up and tell their friends in the legislature, don't just sit back, but we need this passed. It's a comprehensive plan that makes a difference. I know from the workforce folks, one of the things we're looking at are shorter term certificate programs, something that Kelly has pointed out to me. Look, our community colleges are great, but a lot of people don't make it through, like about 80% of them don't make it through. Those that have a shorter term sector specific skill-based learning program, maybe it's 16, 18, 24 weeks. They get through that program, they get a job, they have a higher salary coming out. And one of the things we're doing with our resources is making these certificate programs free of charge to people within those particular sectors that want that opportunity, spread across our community colleges as well as our workforce boards. We want to work with you on that. To the business leaders out there, help us develop the curriculum. Make sure we're training people for the skills that you need. And we are providing the funding. I heard, Kathy was talking about the wraparound service. We're providing free childcare for each and every one of those people taking this opportunity to reskill themselves at one of these certificate programs. And I just urge the employers out there to make sure that we train the people that you need the way you need them trained, and make sure you don't have to look any further than the state of Connecticut to find the people you need to keep your companies growing. So that's why this is such an important announcement today, and I appreciate you sticking around for quite a while. Thanks.
Thank you, Governor Lamont. We appreciate your leadership and your commitment to workforce development and ensuring that we have the dollars available to do the things that need to be done to upskill and reskill Connecticut's residents and get us back to work. And that concludes our program for today.
All right, thanks, Kelly. We'll kick it over to the media Q&A. We'll start with Christine Stewart of Connecticut News Junkie.
Thanks, Rob. So my question is for the governor. We have 140,000 people who are unemployed and obviously being helped with a boost from the American Rescue Plan in that manner. Is it too generous? I mean, is it easier to be on unemployment now than it is to be employed?
No, I don't believe that. But I believe you use this time and opportunity to get you the skill set so you can get a real job that pays you a lot more, that gives you the dignity that represents work. And this unemployment true up is representative of really, extreme time in our economy, and it is coming to a close. So I would use this as an opportunity to get yourself the skill set you need. One other person I forgot was my friend Dave Roche there. Don't retire. You're too young to retire. But in terms of skill sets we need, there's going to be a lot of money coming from infrastructure as well. We need the trades. We need labor. We need those people trained, young people knowing what an amazing job it is. So, no, get a job.
And also, does the legislature have to approve this proposal?
Yeah, what we're doing is we're rolling out what we think are the real priorities with the rescue money, and we're sharing that with the legislature, and together we'll come up with the best allocation. So I think we have the best allocation.
And just one more quick question. Would you be able to participate in any of these programs while still collecting unemployment?
Oh, that's a really tricky question. Look, I don't see why you can't go to a community college and get a certificate program, get a certificate degree for 18 weeks while you still have a little bit of unemployment. Maybe I should talk to the lawyers. Makes sense to me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to WTNH. All right, the Associated Press.
Hi, I'm sorry, I had to get unmuted. Can you talk about, is there a way that this money is going to be prioritized to make sure that it's that people who have been directly affected by the pandemic are prioritized when it comes to these job training programs?
Want to try that, Kelly?
Sure, I'm happy to. And yes, those people who have been most affected or under the long-term unemployed are the ones that we're focusing these programs on. And that's a really great part of the work that the workforce boards do. They do a lot of the intake and screening of participants and placing them into programs. So our focus is on those who have been most affected by COVID and the long-term unemployed and underserved populations.
And sorry to go a little off topic, Governor, but the Finance Committee is voting on a tax bill today, including a new 2% surcharge on capital gains, and a state child tax credit is in that as well. Are these proposals things that you can support?
Not really my thing, no. But I'm sitting there talking to the legislative leadership this afternoon. It's second or third inning of a log ball game. There'll be a lot of discussion going forward. I just, as the folks here on this screen, I can tell you, they know that Connecticut's got some momentum now. We've got jobs that are being created. We got companies coming to the state of Connecticut. I don't want to do anything to stop that momentum.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on to the Waterbury Republican American. All right, NBC Connecticut. WFSB. Hearst Connecticut Media.
I have a question regarding these certificate programs. How many of these certificate programs are for free? And is this something that's new specifically to this program, or since the start of the pandemic?
You or Niall, Kelly?
Sure, I'm happy to take that. Yes, so the short-term certificate programs have been around. The workforce boards have done a great job in developing short-term programs. And what we're doing is really expanding upon those best practices and ensuring that business leadership is at the center to make sure that those programs meet those specific needs. And these programs are proposed to be free of charge to those who are participating, and again, focused at those most affected by COVID.
How long has it been around for?
I will throw that question to Mark or Kathy or Joe.
Well, I'll just say Mark Hill, president of the Eastern Connecticut Workforce Investment Board. We've had our manufacturing program around since 2016. It was funded by federal, state grants, as well as private philanthropy. Like I said earlier, 1,700 people plus have been placed through the jobs. I think the stat we're most proud of is 80% of the people who've been placed had no formal manufacturing experience prior to joining the program, yet the employers tell us how well they're doing at the job.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to Fox 61. WTIC. News 12.
Hi, Governor. I have a follow-up on the off-topic question too. I apologize, but yeah, I know you're opposed to the 2% capital gains tax they're proposing, and I would presume also this new consumption tax they're talking about. But what about some of the tax relief measures in this? I mean, like the expand earned income tax credit, and the new child tax credit. I mean, are those things that you would be more open to?
Well, you got to be able to pay for things, John. I'm not open to a big tax increase, and not right now. Child tax credit. Look what Joe Biden is doing. It's the most. It's the biggest investment in kids, lifting 50% of our kids out of poverty. We're making a lot of progress right now. I think we have a pretty good budget out there that holds, makes commitments to people, makes commitments to workforce without raising taxes.
All right, and last, Connecticut Public Radio. All right, that concludes our list of media outlets.
Hey, thanks everybody for what you're doing for Connecticut. I really appreciate it.